So hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are and whatever time you're watching this from. So I'm your girl McKenna. As always, this is Glow with McKenna. And if you're watching this without subscribing, then I'm hurt. Yeah, please hit that subscribe button because this is where we bring you the cream de la creams, and this is where all your wishes are my commands. So yay, today I have the amazing super radio host, good vibes, forever young person. If you see him, you'll think he's 25 years old, but okay. Let's learn some more about him. Let's learn about the man behind the mic here. And oh, sorry, we are at our favorite spot, Bavaria Gardens, located at Karuna Close in Westlands. So, ukitaka kunipata nipate hapa na hao maselebu wenu. Sasa wadau, hi, have you welcome, Chito.
Hey, that introduction. I'm gassing myself. I'm like, what?
You're like, oh my god, I never saw that coming. Hi Chito.
Hi.
How you doing?
Sambamba.
Ata mimi niko salama. Thank you for finally gracing my sweat.
No, anytime.
Oh, you're so easy, Jesus Christ. But if someone saw you from a distance, they would think you're us now. You
For
get
real?
it a lot.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I know I have a resting. Am I allowed
have
to
a
curse?
poker face.
Am I allowed to curse on your channel?
Yes, you are.
I know I have a resting bitch face, but yeah.
Yeah, you have this poker face, someone looking at you before they say hi, you're like.
No, it helps to keep off unwanted people. There's some people we just don't want. Like I'm generally a very chill person.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with people. I love even guys, like when guys meet me in the mall or whatever. I'm the type of guy who will actually come to you.
Really?
Like I'll be like, how are you? I'll get to know your name and I'll go my way. But sometimes sura ya kazi lazima.
Ina depend pia na mood.
No, sura ya kazi lazima.
So Chito, tell us kidogo. We know this man behind the screens and the mics. So we want to know kidogo. Chito amelelewa wapi? Your life is not really public. But exclusively today, because this is where we give the exclusives. We are about to unmask kidogo, not too much.
Yeah.
So ulilelewa wapi, where you brought up?
Hey, so I was born in Lusaka, Zambia.
Oh,
Yes. I was born in Zambia. But I'm a dual citizen. I'm a citizen of Zambia and of Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm those guys who are benefiting off dual citizenship. Yeah, so I was born in Lusaka, Zambia. I've lived in South Africa. I've lived in Uganda. Where else have I lived by there? Lived in Northern Ireland for a short stint. And of course here in Kenya.
Wait, you said you were born in
Zambia, yes.
So your citizenship was by birth in Zambia?
Yes.
How hard was it for you getting a citizenship in Kenya?
Woo! Let me not
because what? I can just imagine.
No, getting it here, I think I applied for my citizenship when 2013. Do you know when I got like now my citizenship certificate was last year.
Really? So
That's when I got my citizenship certificate. Like now here's your citizenship certificate. So I was working on permits and things like that.
So that time you're using your passport, no ID, no nothing.
Yes. So what happens is you're given an alien ID for here in Kenya.
Yeah.
Well, they used to call me an alien back then. So you're given an alien ID which you then use to get your KRA and all this. So you still pay taxes like a Kenyan and all that stuff. Yeah. So I was Kenyan but not Kenyan. So I had to wait to get my citizenship certificate. Then I eventually got that. Then got my ID, passport and things like that.
What really made you want to move into Kenya?
So I moved into Kenya when I was in uni. So I was in uni in Daystar.
Okay.
So when I started my uni at Daystar, my family was living here when I was living in Uganda. So when I moved here for uni, they moved. They went. So my father moved and went to Canada.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go with him. I preferred to stay behind because at that time I already started working. When I was in uni, I started working at 1FM. I don't know if you even remember. There was a station called 1FM.
Was I born even?
Yes, you were for sure. I think when 1FM was around, maybe you were in your teens, in your early teens.
True.
So 1FM only used to play local.
Yeah.
It used to be, in fact, the tagline was local and urban hits.
Yeah.
So they only used to play they were like one of the first stations to play Kenyan music only. So that's where I started working first. So I was working on a drive show at that time.
Wow.
Yeah. So I opted to stay because I was like, I'm doing well.
Yeah. Do you understand Swahili?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I had just that before nianza kuingiza magezo zangu.
Yeah. I understand Swahili.
But
so yeah.
You speak it clearly.
I speak Swahili. If you go for me like Swahili Sanifu, there you will lose me for sure.
Okay, sorry.
But I speak Swa.
Yeah.
I do speak Swa, yeah.
So what did you pursue in campus?
Communication. So I did communication, majoring in electronic media, which is TV, radio. Of course, you still do print and electronic media. We were the guys also doing digital space media and things like that. Yeah, so that's what I pursued. That's what I did.
But how did you get your first job in campus? Watu wako na papers huku nje na nothing. Nada, we are looking for our own means to make money.
So, I had a friend of mine called Loy. She was called Loy Awat.
Yeah.
So Loy writes to me one random, like on a random Tuesday. I was actually in campus. So she says, when FM is looking for interns, are you interested? So we went there. It was me, Masikialo, Manachi called Gina. We're like 5 of us who went to an FM. In fact, I wasn't even dressed in official, nothing. I went. I didn't even print my CV. I had a CV, but I hadn't printed it. So when she told me, so I went, there was like a cyber next to an FM offices. So I went, got my CV, and then went and gave it to them. So we had a mini conversation, and they said, we'll call you for an interview. So I left there like around 4 p.m. Then they called me around 5 and told me come tomorrow for an interview. So now I dressed up properly, went for the interview. So they were asking, what did you want to do as an intern? Yeah, I was very straight from the onset. I said I wanted to do radio. Yeah. Like I want to be a radio intern.
And that's how you started.
Yeah. And that's how I started. They got me in. I started, but I didn't even start on radio because they were still like, no, don't. Bado. So I did reporting. I did reporting for 2 weeks, and then I was good at it. But then the head at that time, she was called Susan. So Susan then tells me, hey, I think you're better like in creative space and whatnot, because I used to create for them ads. I would script for them ads, and all that stuff. And then I did radio interning. Then a guy called John Wilkins, who was the head of the radio at the time, told me, hey, Chief, you want us to train you for radio? I was like, yeah. Then that's how I started.
So that's also, you always wanted to be on radio?
That was always.
Atoka mdogo?
Yeah. From 2001. Yeah. It was around from 2001, yeah. So we used to have a thing called a World Space Radio. Okay. So World Space Radio would allow you to listen to any station in the world. Yeah. And at that time, we're living in South Africa, yeah. So you put like an area outside, then you grab it, then you... So you'd listen, so I would listen to all these different radio stations. And I remember, I think around 2002-03, because I was at Radiohead. Yeah. And around 2003-04 there, I heard Caroline Mutoko for the first time with Nyambane. Yes. That was it. I knew this is what I wanted to do. Of course, halfway through, you want to become a lawyer. Doctor. You convince yourself to be a doctor. At one point, I was like, pilot!
Ooh, you're flying.
Then I did a career test. So there's a thing called a personality career test, which helps you figure out which career your personality belongs in. So I had media, marketing, advertising. I had law. Yeah, I had media. Those were the four that I had. So it was up to me now to pick between those 4. I was like, there's no way nitaanza kwanza kusoma vitabu huko law. Let me just go talk for a living. Yeah.
So what culture shock did you get when you got to Kenya?
Did I really have a culture shock? I think also because of moving around a lot, you experience different things. Yes. But I think I remember one of the first time I ever came to Kenya was in the year 2000. And when I came in, I remember looking at the potholes. The potholes were humongous. I remember calling them pits. I was like, there is no way these are potholes.
Oh my days.
That's the first thing I ever remember. Those things were huge. Those things were huge. It wasn't really culture because potholes are everywhere. Yeah. But just at that time in Kenya, the potholes were to die for. Literally to die for. They were huge. Is there any other thing that had shocked me about Kenya? I think at one point, everywhere else people drive as badly, but here there was a certain roughness. Honestly, Kenyans are rough.
We are.
Like very rough. Like those ones of, you're like, hey, even babes. I remember you'd be like there, you have Katia the babe, she's in geared box, and you're thinking me and this babe are going far. Then you see her roughness, you're like, by the way, it's never that serious. It's never that serious. Yeah.
And the road rage as well.
The road rage is not as bad in Kenya. Road rage is everywhere. Kenya, we don't have visible road rage. Yeah. In Kenya, road rage is in the car. I'm jinga who you are. You get. Yeah. But like me, I have seen a guy I remember a time when I was living in Zambia. I've seen a guy go, Peter Emat, stop in front, chomoka, and then he has maji with pilipili. Mwaga in the guy's eyes, go back into his car and go. So here road rage is not as bad. Yeah. Here guys shout at you from the car. Because also you don't want to chomoka and then you find
traffic ifunguke
and then you have to run back. Okay.
True that.
Yeah.
All right, now you are what was your breakthrough moment first in your career?
My breakthrough moment in my career
Yes.
was because someone messed up.
Okay.
Yeah, someone. So I was still a radio intern,
Yeah.
and then somebody was not showing up for their job. So then I happened to sit in with their co-host, who was, do you know JB Masanduku?
Yes.
So JB Masanduku was my first co-host. So his co-host was never, she was
Where was
regularly
that?
showing at 1FM,
Okay.
regularly showing up on radio. It was on, off, on, off, on, off. So then she never showed up one day, and then the head of radio was like, go in and sit and do the show with JB. Imagine that's how I started radio.
They were like, no, this is the person.
Yeah, so that's how I started.
Yeah.
I never stopped. I did it with him from day one, and I never. In fact, it was around September. I think September 17th. What's today? I think it was September 17th. That was my first radio show.
Yeah.
But of course, at that point, still not a breakthrough. You've gotten in,
Yeah.
but you are still
Learning.
You are still learning, and you are still also looking for. My dream was always to work at KISS.
Really?
Yeah, it was even on my prayer board. It was
Wow.
always to work for KISS. Yeah.
And now you're at KISS.
Yeah.
So how did you get here now?
KISS tafuted me from 2014. That's the first time I was called. There used to be a head of radio at the time here in Radio Africa called Ben Omol.
Yeah.
He was the head of KISS. So he looked, the first time KISS was rebranding, when Caroline Mtoko was leaving radio, Kalecha and Shafi were going to breakfast, I was meant to come and do the evening show. And for some weird reason, we would always talk, then the contracts get down, and then from there we just go silent on each other. Then 2014, 15, 16, then now 2016, December, they tufted me. And then I started working here January 2017.
And here you are with your amazing co-host Sid.
Yeah.
You guys, your chemistry is flawless. I just have a weird question, Kidogo. Do people mistake you for dating?
Yes, everybody always asks us if we're dating. People ask us if we are screwing. People ask us if we've screwed. It's normal question. Oh, come on. Sid is like my young sister.
Okay, all right.
I usually call her Kakandugu brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we are deep in this brother. We call it brotherhood, not even brotherhood. It's brotherhood. But she's an amazing person, and she's very single. So if someone is looking for Sid, unaweza mtafuta.
Mama kuandika kabisa.
She's very
But
single.
my question is, sometimes you come to the morning kiss, yeah? To ile time Kamene hayuko yushikilia, ile time Oga, ile time Jalas hakuwa yushikilia. Would you ever wish to permanently now leave the afternoon show and come to the morning show?
I think for every radio personality, you want to do breakfast at one point.
True.
You don't want to screw over someone to get your job. True, but I mean, if an opportunity comes, of course I would love to do it. Of course I would love to do it. I mean, it's one of those things where I say I would want to do it as well for the sake of being like, yeah, you know what? But I'm still on a prime time show. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, on your career trajectory, of course, at one point you want to you want to have the opportunity to be able to do it. So I hope the next opportunity that opens up nitakuwa hapo.
I was actually to ask, when Jalas left, didn't you really apply?
But you see, I'm a generator.
Okay.
I'm a host. I'm not a co-host.
Okay.
So those are dynamics for radio. So I run desk. I don't sit on the other side. No, it's not. It's one of those things it's like though you see you have a pediatrician doctor, then you have a surgeon doctor, and even on surgeons you still have the neurologist, you have an orthopedic or whatever, and all those things. So it's just one of those things even on radio. So there are hosts who. So in radio, if it's a two people show, one of the hosts is the one who sits on the one who runs. So you're basically the generator. You're the timekeeper. You are the person who runs the show. You're the person who incites conversation and all that stuff. So somebody like me sits on this other end.
We see that.
That doesn't mean the other end is any less. True. No, it just means so because of those roles, it's the way. Even if you look at like classic, if Maina is not in, Mike Mondo will sit in. Yeah. Because Kingangi's job, his personality is good at reacting.
Yes.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
So now you'll find there are those people whose personalities are good at reacting. There are presenters whose personalities are good at generating and reacting. And then there are those who are just good at generating. Like so there's nothing, I generate and react. That's why now when we sit with Sid, we do what, even if we sit with Obina, we do something we call back and forth. So you do this, that. You have a conversation. So it's not that you've generated then umenyamaza. Yeah.
All right. So unless Kamene leaves, that's the only time you'll go opt for.
You never know. These things sometimes in life you never know.
You never know, but it's your dream though.
Yeah, it's my goal.
All the
Dream
best.
is a strong word.
It's the end goal. Would you ever wish to be on TV? Because your face.
I have done TV.
TV pia.
I've done TV. I did TV at
Where?
K24.
When was that?
I used to host Arena 254 from 2017, 18, 19, 20. I stopped in 20.
That hype show.
Yeah, I did that show for a while. Yeah, but I mean, TV is always something I would want to do for sure.
Or you'd want to go back?
Yeah, I would love to go back to do TV and do it at a different, of course, at a whole different level and whatnot. Yeah, for sure.
Your stronghold is entertainment, lifestyle.
Yes, entertainment, lifestyle, but I also do politics.
Yes, you do actually.
Yeah, I do politics. I've not, the thing for me is I'm not in a box because that's Chito. When it comes I'm that guy who, when it's politics, we shall have conversation. I know who my candidate, even for the previous election, I knew who my candidates were. I wasn't a sycophant, but I knew who my candidates were, and I believed in their manifestos. And it's the same thing, whether it's politics, whether it's life, whether it's relationships, whether it's all these different things, because that's life. You can't be one-sided. I'm a different, multifaceted person.
So people think you're too serious. So tuambie kidogo, what do you do for fun besides, being this serious?
I sherehe. Piga sherehe.
Good one.
Yeah, but that's for fun. But yeah, piga sherehe.
Your hobbies maybe?
I love jogging. So I jog every morning, or at least most mornings I jog.
Okay.
Even today, this morning.
Tell it all.
Yeah, this morning I was jogging. I mean, things like that. Sometimes you might say a hobby, someone's like, oh my God.
Swimming.
No. By the way, I'm not big on swimming. I'm not big on swimming. You know what happened to Africans with water and boats. I swim, I know how to swim, but I'm not the type of person who go out of my way to swim. No. Like I'll do it, I'm like, oh, here's a pool, let me. Or if I want to, I'll be like, let me go swim. But I've rarely woken up and been like, but of course, reading is a weird hobby, but yes, I do like, I love reading different, especially things to do with history, true life. Like I'm fascinated, things about criminal minds. I'm fascinated about such stuff.
All right, so you've been in radio for so long, yeah? So I just want your take. There's somebody we were having a conversation with, and they were like, I miss when radio was radio. I was like, what do you mean? Kitambo, they used to take professionals. And the kind of conversations that were there weren't like jokes. It wasn't like comedy full time. It was conversations that an adult can listen to, a teen can listen to, like it's a wholesome whatever. But at this time and age, unapata mtu amefanya comedy skits tatu, they're taken into radio without the papers.
Which radio stations? Not where we work. Not where I work.
Serious.
Where I work, we don't take guys who've done. They don't take guys who've done like 3 skits. But anyway, yeah, you're still saying.
I'm trying to say, as long as you have the numbers and the audience, they take you in and leave out people with papers. So kinda radio has been tampered with. So do you think that's true first, according to someone who is already there and who was there before as well?
I've actually even had this conversation. There was a time I was doing a talk in Daystar.
Yes.
And I remember we had these conversations with the students. Do I believe that some media owners have lost the foresight of radio? Yes, I do feel that way. There are other stations I know that take in a lot of people. I will assure you, everyone on KISS has done a training in media. Everyone.
That's true.
Even if you've not done a degree, you've gone either to MCSK, has taken you through a whole training of how you're supposed to be and whatnot. And like me and my co-host, both of us have done media and communication.
Yes.
Kate Sidede has done communication and media as well. So for us, it's about, even Mushina, by the way, also did communication. I know Kamene did law, but I know she's done a training in MCSK. MCK rather. I know Sobin has done a training with MCK. So there are those mandatory things that have to be done. So yes, I feel that way sometimes, because there are sometimes I will go, like even when I go into Daystar, sometimes I'll sit and I'll be like, there's so many young guys here who'd probably do good work. And they've wanted to do this thing, they've studied for this thing. And you will, and I mean, there are some shows you listen to be like, yeah, these ones have no idea what a media training is and all those things. So yes, is there that in fact, one of the things I've been saying for the longest time is I can't go into the hospital and start operating on people. I'll look like a madman. In fact, if anything, they'll call the cops. And for me, it's the same thing. I think one of the things that maybe the Communications Authority and guys for Media Council should do is ensure anyone who works in a media station, whether as a news anchor, reporter, cameraman, whatever it is, make sure that person has at bare minimum a diploma in communication or in media or in something to do with whether it's journalism, whether it's communication, whether it's media. Even I would even rather have a PR person than have a, because I think with us guys who did go, when you sit in, there are certain things you'll find there are less scandals with us people who went to uni for it. There are more scandals and more issues with people who never did. Because there are things, I mean, you go through a whole 4 months of ethics and how to talk on radio and things you can't say. Of course, they keep adjusting every time. Even us guys in KISS, every one of us has the code. We have the code of conduct. What you should say, what you... Every one of us have it. It's on our emails. You're constantly being brushed up on it and things like that. So for me, it's important that if there's one thing that this government should do, is that let people study for their professions, hustle in their professions. Things it would be a good thing. If you want to get in, go do a diploma or go to MCK and do a whole thorough training, then come. That's what I think. And
a household name, this is a huge topic that I think we're going to take to do another time, but I really wanted us to talk about mentorship, but because of time, because I find people really mistaking mentorship for groupers.
Yes, many people do that.
Right?
Many people
I
think,
come to you, I want you to be my mentor, but then my thinking of being a mentor is give me a job at KISS.
It's a godfather. You want a godfather or a godmother? Yes.
So I think that's a whole topic that we're supposed to do.
But
since today we were here because of you, I want to first ask. That's like guys, look, watch out for part 2 of this, because I really need to talk about that, especially with you, as a young person who's been in the media industry for long. But
we can have a mini conversation about it if you want.
12:10 was our time.
Yes.
We
can have a mini conversation. It's okay.
Me the privilege. I don't want to consider you, so we have that. So before that, how do you manage to keep your private life private, and yet you're in the public space? Because we really don't know a lot about.
Just don't talk about it.
No, but ujaipatikana kwa BNN, you know what? Chito wa KISS ndo yule pale.
But see, I'm not a controversial person. I'm not a guy who's doing A, B, C, D, E. I'm controversial in my hangouts with, I mean, my friends will probably be like, Chito say some shit and we're like, what the hell? But I'm not a type of person who is clouting or whatever it is. I genuinely just live my life. And one of the things for me that I'm very clear about from the start is there are certain people I won't put out there. Even when they show up in my lives, I'll never put them out there, because that's me.
That's your principle.
That's my principle. I believe I'm the one who signed up for this life. Somebody else didn't. If it's my sibling, if it's a partner, they didn't sign up for this life. It's me who signed up for it. So let me do my things. And also it allows, I think there's an unnecessary pressure that's put on siblings, on partners, or people who are especially the inners around guys who are in the public scene. Because I mean, me, I could be working some job. You don't know me if I'm doing biashara and I'm making my money besides from KISS. I'm doing my business. I'm doing all these things. Somebody else has that mentality of, oh my God, even these people next to them should be able to afford a certain lifestyle, whatever it is. There are some people who are living beyond their means. I mean, guys who are in crazy debt beyond their means because of trying to live a certain public perception. Me, I do me. I'm unbothered about a lot of things. I don't believe in putting out a lot of your material stuff, not because it's not there or because I don't like material things, but because I also think it creates a falsehood in who somebody is. But also I think in a materialistic world that we are living in, it gives a false presentation to younger people. So you'll find you go into a uni, there are young people who want this type of job, but they're coming to you because they're coming to this job because of the car you are driving. Or they think the neighborhood you're living in, or the lifestyle they think you're purporting. And in most cases, most of these guys are living beyond their means. They're in debt through their heads, and it's sponsored. And guys are getting free booze. Guys are getting free booze. Guys are going to the club is giving them booze, food, and money to show up and bash.
They'll just take the pictures.
They'll take pictures, smile with a couple of guys, and then you'll be like, oh my God, I want to be like so and so. Yes, be like them, but remember, for most of these guys, they're getting their money. Some of them are also doing it for free. Let's not lie to each other. Some guys are doing it for free. And there are also guys who've got sponsors. Guys have also sponsors, like guys who are paying them to do this thing. So there are different faces to it all. For me, the thing is, just be true to myself. I just live my life, honestly. And I think when you don't put out a certain perception of you, you have a more leeway to do things how you want to. No one is out here looking and trying to see what car I'm driving. Because I don't care.
Yeah,
So why should you care?
Sure.
No one is trying to see which neighborhood do I live in. No one is trying to see what is Chito doing. Because I live my life.
Yeah. So what's the craziest DM you've received so far?
The craziest?
DM.
If I had $1 for every. That one, let's leave it at that.
Okay. I think if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you don't, forget about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing afana amekufanyia in person. Mmemit na mtu
Someone grabbed my balls.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my days.
I was walking and then someone was just like, and then I had that moment of, was that accidental? Was that deliberate? Yeah. Someone has done that to me, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, somebody else also came into my DMs and asked, anyway, leave the DMs to be. Because I feel like the thing for me is if I open that door, everyone thinks now it's, yeah.
Oh, you're
No, it's okay. This is the life I signed up for this life.
Yeah. Give your fellow or people who want to join the radio space or the media space some advice as you close up, but the mentorship one.
Yes, we'll come back to that conversation. Be true to, I mean, for me, it's just be true to yourself. And do you really want to do it? Why do you want to do it? Because you can be trying to do it because you want to be famous. I think if you're chasing fame, radio is not for you. If you're chasing fame, but I think if you have a passion for entertaining people, you have a passion for whether you are like me, I want woman empowerment. Me, I want to talk for Vijana and whatever it is. By all means, but I think it's a very beautiful space. If it's easier, like you have a dream and this is what you want to do, go for it. Go for it. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Do you miss Zambia and South Africa? Would you wish to go back?
I go there often. I travel there quite
for
often.
vacations?
Yeah, and to go chill, see people.
So this is your home, Mama. Zambia is your home, Mama. South Africa is your home.
This is my home. Say I live here.
Built here.
Say I live here, yeah. Siniko hapa. Sasa what am I going to do there?
There's one important thing I was to ask you. Do you think being brought up in a silver spoon or silver platter, people mistake you for not working hard? But there's a lot of that misconception among that. But I mean, I think everyone who has grown up in a household where, okay, let's say where there was some level of comfort, you know for a fact you are taught to work for that comfort. Most guys, by the time you're 10, you're already going into biashara, you're counting money with your folks. By the time you're 15, your folks are asking you, so tunanunua hii stock ama tusinunue. By the time that was you that time.
Yeah, let's walk. See, we're walking with me. Let's walk together.
You're just assuming, okay.
Yeah, so I think there's still a lot of hard work that's instilled. Because also most folks don't want their money to be squandered.
Sure.
They need their money to be kept very well. So most folks will show their children. It's a misconception. Do those networks help children? Yeah, for sure. They do. Because I've seen enough guys in my life who I've seen, I'm like, my dad called so-and-so, and then they go to, I'm like, that's good for you. And I think that's why we should then be the people to also create the other connections for your family.
Have you been stigmatized for that by the society?
Nah, because I don't
show it off.
Yeah, I'm a chill guy. I'm an easy guy.
Sasa basi parting shot tufunge sasa nikuachilie for now. Nilikuwa nikuweke hapa forever, but today Makena had to behave.
So we'll just do part 2. You let me know when you want us to do part 2. Parting shots, cheers.
He's that chill, the man of very few words, but ukimona pale kwa radio, you'll think he's that vibe. But he's such a vibe though.
Yeah.
Forever young.
Yes.
Mshasikia stories za 201 na tuko 2022. What does is it coming to 2?
Oh wow.
It is. Thank you so much Bavaria Gardens for hosting us as always. Karuna Close Westlands is a place to be. Thank you so much to my team, the Race Entertainment Gang, Aviko and Manu for always holding me down. These guys are real, man. Thank you so mumuch to you guys for watching and always supporting young talents. Thank you so much to my guest today, Chito Ndlovu. Your name is hard to pronounce. So, Chito, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, until next time, God bless. Niambie mnataka kuona nani next. Kutakuwa na part 2. So tell me, what else should I ask him? This was a Siri. Nitamuuliza next time. Haya, sawa dau. Cheers. Until next time, God bless. Subscribe. Tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe.
To Glow Up with Makena.
Subscribe to Glow Up with Makena.